Who'd ever take a woman as filthy and tainted as you for his wife?
Our betrothal is hereby annulled. Your right of succession to House Adderhide revoked. Your estate ceased. And you, wretch, are hereby sentenced to exile from this kingdom.
Drenched in crimson wine over my pure white gown, I turned, slowly, to face Prince Vion. And then, I pinched the hem of my skirt and bowed. Deep, deeper still. The flawless curtsy of a noblewoman, the one I had performed 100 times over in society. The cathedral fell into utter silence, a gracious smile upon my lips. And yet, deep behind my eyes, there burned a light no one had ever once seen before.
Just as you wish, I shall take my leave of this kingdom. With the greatest of pleasure.
What?
Do set your heart at ease, Your Highness Leonhardt. I am, despite how I may appear, a most obedient woman. Your every word I shall carve deep into my heart.
I grinned. It was the very smile the woman they called the Crimson Lady had fixed upon her face. Again and again.
However,
I, Scarlet von Adelheid, turned slowly toward the heart of the cathedral.
Your Highness, allow me to leave you with just one last thing.
What is it?
The barrier of the northern wall. Its keeping was entrusted to me, was it not?
And in that very instant, my name is Scarlet von Adelheid, the only daughter of House Adelheid, whose duke serves as this kingdom's chancellor, called the Crimson Lady, betrothed to the first prince, His Highness Leonhardt. I held a station the whole world envied, that is, until the memories of my past life returned to me.
You cannot be serious.
I stood frozen before the mirror. The otome game I had played to death in my past life, Rose Court, and its villainess Scarlet, was now me. And of all the moments to realize it, the very final chapter. Scarcely a month remained until the broken engagement event. With trembling fingers, I traced the walkthrough chart etched into my memory.
The execution end. The execution end. The poison end. The imprisonment end.
No matter which path I chose, only a bad end awaited. Apologizing to Ceres, useless. Fawning over Prince Leon, useless. Even fleeing into a convent, the hunters would come. The makers of that game had not granted the villainess Scarlet so much as a single route of salvation.
Nowhere left. There's nowhere left to run.
Beyond the window, the glittering murmur of society drifted in from afar. Among them all, not one soul stood at my side. Despair, quiet and patient, crept its way through my heart.
Scarlet. Shuage.
In the royal courtyard, my betrothed, His Highness Leonhardt, looked down upon me with a face of utter weariness. Silken golden hair, features finely sculpted. On paper alone, the perfect Prince Leon. If only the inside had matched the outside.
Your Highness, about the sudden tax relief proposal you put before the council the other day. That plan,
That again. Every time you open your mouth, it is nothing but complaints.
He had not the slightest will to hear me through. I sighed, deep within. That tax cut, its revenue estimates were in utter shambles. Were it passed, the treasury would collapse inside 3 years. In the game as well, this Prince Leon was catastrophically hopeless in matters of state. Of all the suitors, the one man gifted enough to topple an entire kingdom.
It is not that I doubt your Highness's judgment.
Silence.
Cut clean off. Her gaze colder than ice. Not the look one gives a betrothed. The look one gives a pest.
That condescending manner of yours, looking down on everyone. That is precisely the thing that makes you so despised. Learn a little from Celestia. That girl is gentle to all, modest, demure.
Yes, there it is. Ceres's name. This man has preached me the very same sermon some 3 times now. So this is what they mean, I suppose, by a man wrapped utterly around a woman's finger.
Why, Lord Leon, won't you hear me out?
The royal salon. Just as I was raising my teacup to my lips, that adorable little voice rang out from the next table. Celestia Mayfield, daughter of a baron, the star of the day.
It's about the Southern tax relief proposal. I do think the revenue estimates are off. Left as they are, the treasury would collapse within 3 years. But if one were to set up a system to make up the shortfall with a gradual rise in indirect taxes, the burden on the common folk would be far lighter.
What? I froze, my cup halfway to my lips. That was, word for word, exactly what I had proposed to His Highness yesterday. Nearly to the letter.
Celestia, you truly are brilliant.
Prince Leon was gazing at her, utterly enraptured.
If only a lady as gentle and clever as you stood at my side. No.
Oh, Lord Leon, really? I'm nothing of the sort. I've still so much to learn. It's only that, when I think of the people, I simply cannot sit still.
Ceres lowered her eyes, the picture of modesty. I see. So that's how it is. In the game, Celestia was written as the heroine who supports the combat-built, handsome Prince Leon with her brilliance. A heart that cared for the people, an unerring eye for policy. Every player thought, now there's a fine heroine. But meeting her in the flesh, I understood. This woman thinks nothing for herself. She lifts the ideas of every clever soul around her and parades them as her own. That and nothing more. And Prince Leon hasn't the faintest notion of it.
Oh, Lady Scarlett.
Without warning, Ceres turned toward me and smiled, sweet as honey. She raised the wine glass in her hand and rose to her feet. And in the next instant, she did something beyond all my understanding. Ceres tipped the wine glass right over her own head. The crimson liquid ran down her chestnut hair and bled into her white dress. And then, with theatrical clumsiness, she let her feet tangle beneath her. And with a tremendous crash, she toppled to the floor, table and all.
It hurts.
Celestia?
Prince Leon rushed to her, the color draining from his face. What just happened? Truly, what in the world just happened?
Celestia, are you alright? Who in the world would do such a...
Prince Leon's gaze rose, slowly, and fixed upon me.
Scarlet. So it was you.
I beg your pardon?
You did this.
You threw wine over Celestia and shoved her down.
Your Highness, I have not stirred a single step from this seat. As you can plainly see, my own cup is still...
Spare me your excuses.
Ceres gave a frightened little tremble and clung to Prince Leon's arm.
Lord Leo, please, don't blame Lady Scarlet. It's all my fault. I'm such a clumsy thing. I simply tripped on my own.
Even as she spoke, the very words that seemed to shield me, Celes turned her brimming eyes up to the prince, pretending to defend me, to set the impression in stone. Flawless.
Celestia, what a kind-hearted girl you are. But I will not be deceived. That she shoved you down, I might as well have seen it with my own eyes.
You didn't. You absolutely did not. Slumped there on the wine-soaked floor, looking up at me, deep in Ceres's eyes. Something flickered, a sneer. Ah, now I see. This girl, Ceres. She's a far better villainess than I ever was. It's almost funny. Truly, it's almost funny. Back in my chambers, I stood before the full-length mirror, still in the wine-stained gown, crimson-dyed silk. A stain that would never come out, never return to white. Just like my future. Laughter welled up in me. An ordinary villainess would despair here. would crumple to the floor in tears, or else turn bravely forward. I'll do my best, and gamely chase after some way to dodge the bad end. But you see, in my past life, I was a heavy user who had sucked rose gold down to the very marrow. Every walkthrough chart, every hidden route, every debug mode trick. I know it all, and knowing all of it, I can say with certainty, in this game, for Scarlet von Edelheid, no route of salvation exists. For Nova Ceres, and she's crawling to me. How revolting. The poisoning route. Turn obedient to Prince Dion, and her watch has slackened. The imprisonment route. Flee to a convent, and it's a criminal plotting escape. The execution route. Keep quiet and still, and it's no sign of remorse. Exile, then dead at the hands of bandits. Whichever branch. The last line is always the same. And thus the villainess Scarlet brought the curtain down upon her life. The maker of this game really must despise me. The me in the mirror slowly curled the corners of her mouth. A wicked, and yet strangely radiant smile I had never once worn in my past life. Wait! Just wait a moment. I spoke to the self inside the glass. I'd been in despair, thinking there was nothing but bad ends. But come to think of it, doesn't that just mean there are plenty of bad ends to choose from? Poison, prison, execution, exile. Take my pick. In that case... Oh! A low chuckle escaped from the back of my throat. The golden eyes in the glass blazed, bright and wild. If I'm to perish anyway, if it all ends anyway, then weeping wretchedly, trampled wretchedly, dying wretchedly while I beg, I'm sorry. That I refuse. Absolutely. I am a Villainess. Then I shall be one, as a Villainess ought to be, as the strongest of villains, as the most dreadful of calamities. This whole kingdom, Ceres, Prince Leon, every noble who sneered at me, all of them together. I'll drag every last one of you down with me. In the mirror, the scarlet in the crimson gown smiled, lush and lovely, decided. The plan is set, and for that, first, I must go and see that man, the enemy nation's general, Erzvan Herzog, the man with the mightiest strength in all this game, and the man who, more than anyone, ought to hate the villainess Scarlet. I can't stop laughing. Oh, honestly, this much fun. It may be the first time in my life, deep in the night, on a moonless evening, at the edge of the royal capital, along a wayside path no one ever walked. I waited for a single man, wrapped in a black cloak.
I came, Scarlet.
A low voice echoed out of the darkness. A shadow stirred. Tall, jet black armor, a great sword at his hip. Crimson eyes glinting sharp, even in the dark of night. First Legion commander of the Balzerian Empire, Erzvan Herzog. In the main story of the game, the calamity who ravages this kingdom in the final battle. The Vitero's strongest character, feared by players as the final boss, stronger than the final boss. And the man who hated the villainess Scarlet von Adelheid more than anyone in this world. For the past 10 years, I had aimed every manner of scheme at this man's homeland. I laid the late emperor low with poison, splintered the chancellor's faction of nobles, shattered the Northern Alliance. The Crimson Lady is the name Valzeria's people speak when they curse me. And a man like that came, on the strength of a single letter from me, alone, to a place like this, for one reason only. Because I know, down to my bones, that this is a man who will thrust his hand into a viper's mouth if there is profit in it. My thanks for coming all this way. Az.
Don't speak my name so freely. There is no name of mine for the likes of you to call.
Oh, how cruel. And here we are, such old acquaintances,
you and I.
To the man who made no effort to hide his bloodlust, I gave a soft little smile and began to walk.
Come, let us walk. This is far too fine a tale to tell standing about.
Ars put his hood bow and followed, melting into the shadows. But I had not so much as drawn my cloak shut. In the moonlight, the silver embroidery shone, bold and unhidden.
You do not conceal yourself.
Not particularly. I don't mind being seen.
An exasperated click of the tongue reached me from behind. After we had walked a while, the white wall came into view. The northern wall, the keystone of the barrier that rings the royal castle.
You know of it, surely? This barrier, it has been managed by House Adelheid for generations.
And what of it?
Next month, there is to be my wedding.
Ars's feet came to a stop.
Mine and that of the Crown Prince, His Highness Leonhardt. Among the guests, we shall welcome many honored visitors from neighboring lands. And surely, some of them would be sorely inconvenienced to be turned away by the barrier.
I laid my hand gently against the wall.
And so, on the day, for 2 hours in the midst of the ceremony, this barrier will be lifted entirely. 2 hours in which this wall, that bars all things, becomes nothing but stone.
In the darkness, Ars's eyes slowly widened.
More than half the garrison will be drawn off to guard the ceremony. Half will remain, and those under commanders noble in name only. Their attention fixed on the right, their first response will be slow. Of that, you may be certain.
Smiling, I pointed to the center of the northern wall.
The northern wall's true frailty is here. This one point, drawn in a straight line with the main gate. The instant the barrier falls, it is sealed again from the outer edges first. And so, this central point stays open the longest.
Ars said nothing. He only stared intently at the tip of my finger. Next, walking along the wall, I told him, flatly, evenly, of the second route of entry, the third blind spot, the hours in which the chain of command would fall behind. The sound of Ars's breath growing faintly ragged carried to me through the night air. And the moment I pointed out the fourth blind spot, the cord of iron pressed against the side of my throat.
Scarlet.
A low voice rang out from somewhere deep. Ars's sword.
If I cut you down here now, what then?
Oh my!
If I seize you, fell you, carry your head home, my homeland could destroy this kingdom in a few short years. Slit your throat here, this very moment, and it ends. Am I wrong?
The blade's edge bit into my skin. The sensation of a single bead of red welling up. I turned slowly to face him. And I grinned.
The Earthborn Herzog that I know.
Bearing the red-stained line of my throat, I gazed straight into the man's crimson eyes.
Is not a man who would do such a thing.
What did you say?
You are a man who would do anything. Poison, assassination, hostages, all of it. And yet, one thing alone. Your pride as a knight. That you cannot cast aside.
The hand gripping the sword trembled, ever so slightly.
To cut down an unarmed woman, by moonlight, from behind. That you cannot do. How ironic, isn't it? That I, who hate you more than anyone, who wounded your homeland more deeply than any other, and the one soul in all this world who knows the man you are.
Gently, I laid my fingers against the sword at my throat. The cold blade, I pressed down myself.
Every soul I ever trusted betrayed me. My betrothed, my friends, the nobles I believed to be allies.
The sword was lowered, slowly,
And the last person I found I might let myself trust is the very one who hates me most of all.
A small laugh slipped out of me.
Truly, the world is a thing of cruel irony.
In the darkness, Oz said nothing for a long while. Only his crimson eyes, deeper than the night itself, stayed fixed upon me, even with his sword lowered. Oz still held me in his gaze.
Scarlet,
A low voice.
it is ironic indeed. The two of us, we know each other better than anyone alive.
Yes,
I am certain that everything you told me tonight is true. For I am the one who has assailed that northern wall more than any other.
Even after the sword was lowered, the heat in Oz's eyes had not cooled.
And so, that is exactly why I would ask you,
The crimson eyes pierced through me.
what do you stand to gain from this?
I let out a soft breath. And then, slowly, I smiled. It was the true smile I had carried since my past life.
Scarlet's knife. You see? The script was decided from the very start. Whatever I choose, whomever I cling to, the end is the same. Weeping wretchedly, reviled wretchedly, ending wretchedly. Someone wrote that story for me, without my leave.
I looked up at the night sky.
And that story, I loved it.
What?
Tell me, Oz. You,
Slowly, I looked at him.
if you held a book in which the whole story of the world you live in was already written, what would you do?
Oz's brow stirred, just slightly.
I loved that book. I read it over and over and over again. And over and over, again and again. I ended the life of the woman called Scarlet with my own 2 hands.
In the darkness, Oz said nothing. Even without understanding, he was trying to listen.
And that is exactly why I know, better than anyone.
That is,
Oz asked, low.
are you saying you can see the future?
That may be so,
I smiled,
though it is a future that cannot be changed.
and precisely because of that,
Tell me, Oz. I do have one small insistence about being a villain.
An insistence.
Yes, if only the very worst future is ever to come, then at the very least, I should like to choose the manner of my own falling. Wouldn't you?
I laid a hand against my own chest.
A flower is at its finest in the falling. Is it not?
Oz's breath stopped.
A script where I'm cast out in disgrace, toyed with by bandits, and finished off?
My tone dropped, low and quiet. The true voice sunk into me since my past life, that I had let no one hear.
Don't make me laugh.
The night air drew taut and still.
Prince Leon, who sneered at me. Ceres, who dragged my name through the mud. The nobles who whispered, traitor, behind my back. Every last one of them who trod, as if it were their right, on everything I built for this kingdom.
I grinned. It felt good. A clean, sharp release in my chest.
I'll take them all down together. The whole kingdom along with them.
In the darkness, Oz caught his breath.
You are.
And there, his words stopped, as if he had begun to say something, and hesitated to speak the rest, as if he could not allow himself to weave the next word. And when at last he opened his mouth, what dwelt in his eyes was not anger, no hatred, no scorn. It was the look of someone gazing at something terribly, painfully sad. Not quite pity. The look one gives a pitiable woman. With eyes like that, he watched me.
A woman like you.
And again, he fell silent. A long, long silence. At last, Oz let out a deep breath. He sheathed his sword fully and turned on his heel. His jet-black cloak swept around. And then, with his back half melted into the darkness, he murmured quietly,
I'll ride along with that story of yours.
toward the retreating back. I pinched my skirt and folded deep into a bow. The finest of curtsies. One I had performed 100 times in society, yet never once, until this very moment, from the bottom of my heart. Thank you, General Herzog. A single footstep. The sound stopped, and he turned back. In the darkness, Earth was looking back at me. What dwelt now in those crimson eyes was no longer the painful sorrow of before. Something like resolve, a smoldering, kindling light. The man in the jet black armor fixed me square in his gaze and spoke low.
However, this script written in that book of yours, upon that paper, the ones living, here and now,
His hand on the hilt of his sword tightened.
are only us, you and I.
The night air snapped taut.
The one who decides the true ending of this story, called the world, is us, the ones living in the now.
My heart gave a single leap. It was a line I had never once heard in all my time inside that game. Before I could so much as answer, Ars turned his back again, swept his jet black cloak around, and melted away into the dark. Absurd. Just the idle words of an enemy general. Nothing more. And yet, why is it that deep in the chest of this crimson gown, it should be so very loud? The day of the wedding. From dawn, the great cathedral of the royal castle was filled with nobles from across the realm. Banners of gold thread fluttered from the balconies. White roses adorned the altar. The marriage of myself and the crown prince Leonhardt. On the surface, a once-in-a-lifetime ceremony the whole nation would celebrate. In the dressing room, I was clad in a pure white wedding gown. My lady, are you truly certain about this? My lady's maid, Maria, set the last bow into my hair with trembling hands. She had sensed something, that for these past few days, I had not been myself. Yes, there's nothing to worry about. I smiled gently at the self within the mirror. That pure white gown, the crown of pearls, the flawless bride. An attire most fitting for the finest of finales. His Highness is asking for you, she said. Yes, I shall go. I left the dressing room and set off down the long corridor leading to the cathedral. And midway down the corridor, why, Lady Scarlet? Lying in wait was Celes. Chestnut hair pinned up, clad in a pink gown. My congratulations on this day. I rushed here to celebrate. A beaming smile. And in her hand, a glass of red wine filled to the very brim. To celebrate! A toast! Yeah? With a theatrical cry, she let her own feet tangle beneath her. The crimson maigret was flung, all at once, across my pure white gown, from breast to hem. Oh, I'm so sorry. How clumsy of me, truly. Ceres apologized, eyes brimming. And yet, at the corner of her mouth, a smile she could not quite hide was seeping through. Right before the ceremony. I'm so terribly sorry. But perhaps this rather suits you. She giggled, because your true nature, Lady Scarlet, suits this color far better than pure white. Breast stained crimson. I looked down at her quietly. Yes, perhaps you're right. Now, what? Red does suit me very well indeed. Thank you for teaching me that. Still smiling, I sipped past her and pressed on toward the cathedral. Celes watched my retreating back with a blank, dumbfounded face. At last, the doors of the great cathedral were opened from both sides. The solemn tones of the organ. Hundreds of nobles rising to their feet. The moment everyone awaited the pure white bride. Oh, so it should have been. The whole cathedral caught its breath. Clad in a crimson-stained gown, I advanced toward the altar. Gracefully. One step, then another. A stir. Screams. Cheers.
Is that? What a sight she... How illumined.
I paid it no mind and walked straight on toward the altar. And there, before the altar, the Crown Prince Leonhardt, who had been awaiting me, looked down at my stained gown and gave a short, mocking laugh.
How fitting. Scarlet von Adelheid. Here and now, I shall lay your crimes bare.
Before the great doors of the cathedral, armed royal guards fell into rank as one. Every path of escape was sealed.
You met in secret with Ars van Herzog, general of the enemy empire Valzeria, and sword of our nation's secrets. The crime of treason. There is testimony and proof beyond dispute.
A great uproar swept through the cathedral.
And she, of all people, the Crimson Lady. Traitor. A duke's daughter. It cannot be.
A beaming smile on his face, Prince Vion leveled his finger at me.
Who'd ever take a woman as filthy and tainted as you for his wife? Our betrothal is hereby annulled. Your right of succession to House Adelheid, revoked. Your estate, seized. And you, wretch, are hereby sentenced to exile from this kingdom.
The cathedral filled with sneers and abuse. Still in my crimson-stained gown, I simply surveyed it all, quietly. Still in that town, stained red as blood, I turned slowly to face Prince Leon. And then, I pinched the hem of my skirt and bowed. The flawless curtsy of a noble woman. The one I had performed 100 times over in society. The cathedral fell into utter silence. I raised my face, a gracious smile upon my lips. And yet, deep behind my eyes, there burned a light no one had ever once seen before. Just as you wish, I shall take my leave of this kingdom, with the greatest of pleasure.
What?
Do set your heart at ease, Your Highness Leonhardt. I am, despite how I may appear, a most obedient woman. Your every word I shall carve deep into my heart. I grinned. It was a very smile the woman they called the Crimson Lady had fixed upon her face, again and again. However, I, Scarlet von Adelheid, turned slowly toward the heart of the cathedral. Your Highness, allow me to leave you with just one last thing.
What is it?
That you made an enemy of the Crimson Lady. Regret it for the rest of your life. And in that very instant, the cathedral walls trembled, a roar like distant thunder. Yet it could be no thunder. Heavy, shaking the very earth, a crack went racing across the cathedral's stained glass.
What? That sound just now.
The color changed in Prince Leon's face. The nobles began to stir. Twice, 3 times, the roar shook the royal castle. It was drawing nearer, beyond doubt.
That's surely not.
The great doors of the cathedral were flung wide open.
Your Highness!
The one who came tumbling in, gasping for breath, was a herald knight. His armor in disarray, his face fouled with dirt, blood running from his brow.
Enemy forces! An enemy attack is upon us!
What?
The banners of the Valzerian Empire! They have already broken through the northern wall! They are flooding into the city below!
The cathedral exploded.
What did you say? Enemy forces? What happened to the northern wall's barrier? Why today of all days?
The nobles' screams, toppling chairs, people fleeing in every direction. The once solemn cathedral transformed, in an instant, into a hellscape of shrieking chaos.
Impossible. The barrier. What happened to the barrier?
The Crown Prince Leonhardt cried out, his face gone pale. A drop of cold sweat fell to the cathedral floor, and there, at his very feet, a woman in a crimson gown was smiling, quietly, lushly. Why, Your Highness! Scarlet's voice rang strangely clear amid the chaos. The keeping of the barrier was the duty of House Adelheid, was it not?
What?
Her right of succession revoked.
her estate seized. Why? You said those very words yourself just now.
The blood drained from Prince Leon's face.
The very day you dissolved the ducal house. At that very moment of all moments, the barrier crumbles. What a coincidence.
Scarlet slowly lifted her chin.
Truly, the world is a thing of cruel irony.
Amid the roar that shook the stained glass, the villainess in the blood-colored gown smiled sweetly.
Well then, Your Highness, just as you wished, I shall take my leave.
The chaos in the cathedral was still only the prologue.
Enemies! There are enemies among us!
A noble's scream went up from another direction. Among the guests, dozens of nobles who had slipped in among the celebrants cast off their ceremonial robes as one. What appeared beneath was jet-black armor, the crest of the Valzerian Empire.
Valzerian soldiers? Inside the cathedral? Since when have they been among...
A second braid slipped in among the invited guests. The Valzerian operatives Oz had sent ahead. Their role, to carve open the royal castle from within, seizing on the chaos of the cathedral. Swords were drawn, silver light like flashes of lightning. All across the cathedral, the white blades of royal guards and operatives crossed.
Run! Protect His Highness!
The cathedral turned into a battlefield, and in the very heart of the chaos, I had come to a halt. Now then, I looked down at my own gown. From breast to hem, pure white silk soaked in red wine. Too long, jewels too heavy, a skirt swollen wide. The worst possible attire, for fleeing or for fighting. In the way, with both hands, I seized the hem of my dress and pulled with all my might. Beep! With a bold tearing sound, the pure white fabric was rent apart. I cut it up to the knee in one stroke, tore away the over-decorated sleeves along with it. I flung off the crown of pearls and dashed the veil to the ground.
So light.
Murmuring that, I broke into a run toward the side passage of the cathedral. My part was already done. The information handed over. The barrier lifted. The spies inside. After this, to flee. That and nothing more. Exiled, very well. Valzeria, fine. A convent, fine. Somewhere far away, I'd become a mere spectator, watching the ending tumble onward.
Wait! Scarlet!
Prince Leon's shriek. But I did not turn back. The cathedral's side door was right before me. 10 more steps. And in that moment,
Gah! Catch them!
in the middle of the cathedral, a Valzerian operative was driven down by a royal guard's white braid. Running, I glanced back, just for a moment. The royal guards were holding their ground far better than I had expected. The operatives were elite, true enough. But the cathedral was a sealed space, a narrowness with no room to flee. And the trained coordination of the Royal Guard Corps stationed at the castle's very heart. One by one, the operatives were pinned to the floor.
Seize them, seize every last one, by His Highness's command. The ringleader is that woman there. Seize Scarlet.
My feet faltered, just for an instant, before the side door. 3 more steps.
You won't get away.
A royal guard lunged in from the side and grabbed my ankle. My balance broke. I tumbled to the floor. As I tried to rise, another soldier pinned my arm. A third drove his knee into my back. A fourth struck the side of my head with the hilt of his sword. My vision flashed white. Gah! My cheek was pressed to the cold marble. In my sight, Valzerian operatives were being dragged down to the floor, one after another. Watching it, I laughed. I see. Well, of course. So exile won't come quite so smoothly. Well, naturally. A traitor who met in secret with the enemy general could hardly be expected to stroll out of the country at her leisure.
Drag out that Valzerian vixen. Seize her! Throw her into the dungeon!
Prince Leon's shriek rained down from above, cheek pressed to the cold floor. I closed my eyes faintly. The deepest part of the royal castle. The ninth level underground. A royal dungeon where neither sunlight nor even the flow of air could properly reach. A place where, in ordinary times, those who plotted to assassinate royalty or prisoners of war were thrown. And now, in its innermost cell, I was bound in chains.
Traitor! You sold out this kingdom. How many soldiers do you think died because of you?
The soldiers passing before the cell spat at me. Some hurled stones through the iron bars. One struck my brow. Hot. A bead of red ran trickling down my temple. The darkness of the cell deepened. I leaned against the damp stone wall. The crimson-stained gown. By now, I no longer knew what color it was. Caked with mud and filth, it had lost all its form. My wrists, chafed raw by the chains, were skinned to where the bone nearly showed. My shoes had been taken on the very first day. The soles of my bare feet had frozen against the damp stone.
Day 1.
I endured. This is the script that I chose. I spoke it aloud, to remind myself.
Day 2.
A fleeting sleep had finally come, just as I huddled against the cold stone floor and tried to close my eyes.
Wake up, traitor.
From over my head, a whole bucket of filth-laced water was flung down upon me. Cold, foul, filthy. And yet, a single drop that fell to my lips. Reflexively, I licked it. It was the first water I had tasted since coming to the dungeon. Laughter spewed from the corner of my mouth. Even filthy water, and one can live. To sip filthy water. To do even that of my own will. I really have fallen to the very bottom. And even so, I laughed. Day 3, no meal came. For the first 2 days, I still thought, perhaps they've simply forgotten. On the 3rd day, I finally understood. This was not forgetting. It was that nothing would come. To be given not a single drop of water is far harder to bear than I had imagined. It was past the level of a sore throat. The throat splits. The tongue, like cracked clay, clings to the inside of the mouth. Each time night came, I waited for the bucket of filthy water as though in prayer. That was my lifeline. Day 5. My body had stopped obeying me. My fingers shook. My consciousness flickered out now and then. I would come to, collapsed on the stone floor. The weight of the chains bit into my bones. When night fell, rats came to gnaw at my fingers. At first I batted them away, but by the 5th day, I no longer had the strength even to do that. And even so, I lifted the corners of my lips.
This. I chose this.
Stubbornness. Nothing but stubbornness. Day 7. No voice would come out anymore. My breath shallow. Deep in my chest, the sound of something grinding. Dimly, I looked up at the ceiling. The dank stone ceiling. Spiderwebs. Droplets falling, slow as an IV drip. A faint smile rose to my lips.
I never thought.
A hoarse voice spewed from my lips.
I never imagined it would come to this.
In the game, it was far more matter-of-fact. A single line of text. The Villainess was imprisoned in the dungeon. That was all. But that behind that single line, there were days like these. Who could ever have known? And even so, I had no regrets. A wave of cold water poured over my head, dragged my consciousness back. I opened my eyes faintly. A blurred field of view. The damp stone ceiling. The reek of filthy water in my nose. And there, in the center of my sight, 2 shadows.
She's awake. She's awake, Lord Leon.
A voice sweet as honey. Ceres, and beside her, someone standing. Prince Leon. Dimly, I looked up at the 2 shadows. No voice came. My throat was split. I hadn't even the strength left to make a sound. And yet, who those two were, that much I could recognize. They were different people. Prince Leon's sumptuous royal robes were torn in places, his face smeared with soot, dark shadows beneath his eyes. His hands trembled in tiny shudders. His once immaculate golden hair was disheveled. Not a trace of the young noble remained. Ceres was the same. Her pink gown was caked with mud, her curls coming undone. Her makeup had crumbled away with tears, and only her eyes burned, bloodshot and wild. In a single week, people can break this badly. In a corner of my hazy mind, I thought it vaguely. Say, Lord Leo. Ceres, looking down at me, clung to Prince Leon's arm.
I've thought of something. This woman, she's of use, isn't she?
Of use.
After all, she was in league with the enemy general, wasn't she? The Crimson Lady. To the enemy, she's a precious, precious treasure, isn't she?
Ceres' lips slowly drew into an arc.
We hand this one over to Valzeria. In exchange, they hold their advance. No, that's not all!
Gnawing at her nail, Ceres rattled on, fast and feverish.
We issue a statement. This whole affair was the woman's doing, on her own authority. The royal family knew nothing. We are victims too, we say. We'll hand over the criminal, so spare us, we say.
That is...
It's the only way, Lord Leo. It's the only road left for us to survive.
With trembling lips, Prince Leon nodded, over and over.
Yes, yes. That's the only way. The only road for us to survive. It's the only...
Ceres' eyes burned, bright and wild. They were not the sweet, honeyed eyes she had shown Prince Leon in the salon.
Say, Lady Scarlet.
Ceres gripped my chin with her nails and tipped my face up.
At the very, very end. Do be of use to us, won't you?
Within my fading mind, the corner of my mouth lifted of its own accord. I see now, the hostage end. A branch that wasn't in the game's text. A scenario I didn't know. Off the script, as it were. A hoarse laugh spilled out of me, all on its own.
What is so funny?
A spark of pain cracked across my cheek. Ceres had slapped me with all her might.
What? What is so funny? At a time like this?
And still, the laughter would not stop. It spilled on its own from the depths of my throat.
There's more yet.
In a hoarse voice, I murmured.
To think, a scenario like this still remained.
What?
I never could have imagined it.
Ceres' face twisted, warping out of shape.
Revolting! This woman is truly revolting! Lord Leon, quickly! Let's take her away! Quickly!
Yes.
The jailers reached out to hold me up by both arms. And in that very instant, something inside me burst.
No!
A hoarse voice, so small it could barely be heard.
No! What?
I said, no!
With the last of my strength, I shook off the jailer's hands.
Hey, stop thrashing.
No! No! Never! No!
I sank to my knees on the stone floor, dug in my nails, and fought back with everything I had.
Let go! Don't touch me!
My battered body screamed. The strength leaked from my fingertips, from my legs. And still, I would not stop resisting. Don't make me laugh. Don't make me laugh. For the sake of these two surviving, as a sacrifice, so those people get to be spared, I used by them.
Don't make me laugh.
A hoarse scream rang through the dungeon.
I chose this. Not to be used to save your own skins.
If I'm to die, I rend it within the script that I chose. On the same line I drew that day in the cathedral, when I laughed as the Crimson Lady. There, at its furthest end, I'll meet my last. That is the road I chose.
Rather than be used by these two.
With the last of my strength, I clung to the chain at my side.
What are you? Stop it! Hold her down!
Prince Leon's shriek. The jailer scrambled to pin my arms. 1, 2, 3. And still, I went on thrashing, though my nails tore off, though my skin split. I went on thrashing.
Stop! Her value drops. Don't damage the goods.
Don't you dare mock me!
I bit down on the jailer's hand. The sensation of a tooth breaking. The taste of rust in my mouth. And even so, I would not loosen my bite. The jailer leapt back with a scream. But at once, 2 others threw themselves on my legs. Why? In my fading mind, a voice within me suddenly whispered, why am I fighting this hard? I was supposed to end quietly in this dungeon. For 7 days, I should have been resolved, taken as a hostage, handed to Valzeria, killed as a warning to all. And with that, everything was supposed to end. And yet, why is my body thrashing so desperately? Why am I trying so hard to live? I don't know. The reason? I don't know. Only that something, some unknowable impulse was driving my body on. I must not end here, now. I must not end. And then, the door to the dungeon's deepest hold was slowly pushed open, and a single man appeared. Jet black armor, a vermilion cloak. At his hip, a great sword, bared and unsheathed, and crimson eyes. The man, with a face as if he had come strolling through a cool breeze, gave a soft little laugh.
A wretched sight, Crimson Lady.
In my fading mind, I listened dimly to that voice.
Valzerius, First Legion Commander, Arsban Harzok.
Prince Leon's lips rang out a trembling voice.
Why is he here?
This is the 9th level underground.
The deepest part of the castle.
The guards. How did he...
Arthur did not answer. The mere fact that he stood there spoke eloquently of the fact that the kingdom had fallen, and slowly he began to walk toward us.
Stay back!
Stay back!
The jailers revealed their swords and charged, but us merely walked with a cool expression. Was it magic, perhaps? That alone. And yet, the jailers who drew near him were flung one after another against the dungeon's stone walls, as though bowing before an absolute sovereign. That's cheating. Truly the strongest cheat character in the game. That I could hold so oddly calm an impression in a moment like this struck even me as strange.
Hi. Don't come near. Don't come near!
Prince Leon drew his sword and swinging it about wildly, backed away. With a face devoid of all emotion, Ars walked right up before Prince Leon. And then, the hilt of his sword into Prince Leon's gut. Light. A single blow. Prince Leon's body crumpled, slack as a puppet with its strings cut. And then, the last.
Wait! Please wait, Lord Oz.
It was Ceres, plastered to the dungeon wall, hands clasped together. She looked up at us with great, brimming eyes, arranging her chestnut hair to fall just so across her cheek. In a trembling voice, she pleaded with all she had.
You misunderstand. I've been misunderstood. That woman, no, Lady Scarlet, was only handed over on the orders of Prince Leon. No, of that man. And I was trying to save Lady Scarlet and return her to you, Lord Oz.
Splendid tears spilled, one after another, down her cheeks.
I was on your side all along, Lord Oz.
Please, believe me.
That this was the very woman who, only moments before, had been goading Prince Leon to hand her over as a hostage. One could scarcely believe it.
It was a flawless performance.
Oz looked down at her, and then he muttered low.
How ugly, Ruma.
Oz's open palm drove into Ceres's cheek with all his might.
Yeah?
The body in the pink gown slammed into the dungeon's stone wall. She slid down it, eyes rolling wide, and went still.
Your Highness, are you unharmed?
The jailers who had survived crept fearfully back, hoisting up the bodies of Prince Leon and Celeste. Trembling, they stole glance after glance at ours. But ours did not spare them so much as a look.
The jailers scrambled up the dungeon stairs, all but tumbling over themselves. Oz only watched their retreating backs, quietly. He did not give chase, nor did he stop them. His interest, from the very start, had been turned toward one person, and one alone. Slowly, the crimson eyes turned toward me.
Scarlet.
A low voice called my name. The hand Oz weighed against my cheek was terribly, terribly warm. At that warmth, something in me that had been drawn taut for so long seemed to loosen. Looking down at my battered self, Oz lifted the corner of his mouth in a wry little smile.
Is this what you'd call your finest scenario?
In that instant, something inside me very nearly broke at last. But if I broke here, then everything I'd been until now would become a lie.
Oh my!
I forced out a hoarse voice with everything I had. I lifted the corner of my lips, and even so, I smiled.
It's the finest, isn't it?
The smile of the Crimson Lady. The one I'd shown in the cathedral. Battered, rolled in a dungeon for 7 days. And still unbroken. The pride of a villainess.
The script I can write ends here. Any complaints?
Oz looked at me for a while, and then he gave a soft laugh. It was not a laugh laced with the irony and bloodlust of an enemy general, of a First Legion commander, that he had shown until now. The smile of a single man, and nothing more. A clear, radiant smile, as though he were enjoying something from the bottom of his heart. Oz rose to his feet, and he laid his hand to the sword at his hip. The bared blade caught the dungeon's lamplight and gleamed sharp and bright. So, it's finally the end. My consciousness watched that gleam, better than being shamed by jailers, better than having my head paraded by Barzerian soldiers.
If it's to be by your hand,
I smiled, faintly.
It might be a somewhat better ending than the rest, perhaps.
The thread that had been drawn taut for 7 days felt as though it had finally snapped, as though I had lived out the whole of my allotted span. The strength left my body all at once, and I offered up my own throat, gently, forward, the last pride of the Crimson Lady, at least at the end, gracefully. Now then, if you please. With a jolt, my body floated up into the air. I'm falling, I thought. But what I fell against was not the cold stone floor. Something soft and warm. I opened my eyes faintly. With a tremendous sound, the manacles of both my wrists had been torn clean from the wall. Jet black armor, a vermilion cloak, and right before my eyes, crimson irises. What was cradling me was Oz's knee.
What are you?
That's right.
Oz laughed, more, holding me close, as though handling some treasure, locking me gently in his arms.
Just as you said. I'll do as I please.
What? Wait. What are you?
My head couldn't keep up.
Aren't you going to cut off my head? Aren't you going to take me hostage?
Still cradling me with his free hand, Oz slid his sword back into its sheath. With a soft shing, the blade vanished into the dark. And the smile he turned toward me then, it was a smile I had never seen. Not in the dungeon, not in the cathedral, not in the night by the wall. Daring, fearless, and somewhere mischievous.
Scarlet,
A low voice called my name.
I told you once before, didn't I? What story you may have read, I do not know.
In the darkness, his voice rang low.
I know only my own story.
My heart leapt.
A princess, captive in the dungeon of an enemy land,
The corner of Arcee's mouth slowly drew into an arc.
and the enemy nation's general smashes through the castle itself and carries her off by force. That is my scenario.
The chill of the dungeon had vanished, as if it were a lie.
If it isn't written in that book of yours,
Arcee's arm drew me in, hard and close.
then I'll write it for you.
Arce!
I, and I alone,
The crimson eyes gazed at me, burning.
am the continuation of your story.
I am the Villainess, the woman who, in my past life, ended her own life with my own hands, again and again. That is my role. I have to play that role through to the very end.
I struggled, wringing out the last of my strength. Tears ran, on their own, down my cheeks. The tears I hadn't shed a single drop of in 7 days. Why, at a time like this?
If I don't end as the Villainess, the story I knew, the story I loved.
Arce said nothing. Only the strength in his arms left no room for argument. Arce rose slowly to his feet. He lifted my battered self lightly in both arms, cradled sideways, the way one carries a princess.
Wait, no! Put me down! No! Truly, I belong here. Ah! Enough!
And then, half a year, the Valzerian Empire, the imperial capital, the white castle towering at its heart. The residence of 1st Legion Commander Arce van Herzog stood atop a low hill overlooking the whole of the capital. That day, I was on the balcony, tilting a cup of tea. The breeze blowing through gently stirred my hair, returned now to silver. The wounds at my wrists, worn raw in the dungeon, were now scarcely visible. The nails that had torn away had grown back whole. To my once gaunt cheeks, flesh had returned. On my lips lay a thin touch of rouge. I set the teacup back upon its saucer, and I looked up at the sky. A blue sky without a single cloud. Say, somebody. In my heart, I called out, to no one in particular. Does anyone know the rose coat that I know? The villainess Scarlet von Adelheid. Do you know that woman's ending? Poison, prison, execution, exile. Take your pick, whichever you choose. The last line is the same. And thus, the villainess brought the curtain down upon her life. That was how it was supposed to be. Suddenly, a man in jet black armor sat down beside me. Turning back at my voice, he gave a soft laugh.
I'm back, Scarlet.
I spread both arms wide and flew into his chest. His armored arms caught me, firm and sure. Welcome home.
You're back early.
Thinking you were waiting made me want to hurry.
My, what a sweet thing to say.
Arce brought his lips slightly to my brow, and I blocked it with a finger.
What are you thinking about?
Arce whispered, no. I lifted my face from his chest. And then, I grinned.
What shall I scheme up next? I was thinking.
You really are.
Arce made a gesture of holding his head in his hands. And yet, at the corner of his mouth, he was unmistakably smiling.
You really are a wicked woman.
Yes,
I looked straight up into those crimson eyes.
I'm a Villainess, after all.
And then, I stepped forward, with a grin, into the continuation of a story written by no one. A story all my own.